Reading Electric Utility is celebrating its 100th anniversary and has been providing safe, reliable energy to our community since 1921. REU continues to create value and deliver exceptional services to residents of Reading, California. In 1921, the City of Reading purchased the utility to maintain and enhance local control. REU initially relied on the purchases of wholesale power from PG&E and other utilities. In the 1960s, REU stepped up to a full allocation of hydroelectric power from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation's Central Valley Project. At the time, the cost of this energy was higher than what REU was paying for power from PG&E, but REU recognized that PG&E's rates were on the rise and seized the opportunity to become a more independent electric utility. In 1981, the Transmission Agency of Northern California began building the California-Oregon Transmission Project that provides REU with the ability to access power from the Pacific Northwest. In 1986, REU built a 3.5 megawatt small hydroelectric power plant at the base of Whiskeytown Dam. In the 1990s, to better enhance its reliability, REU bought a cogeneration power plant and added 3 natural gas generation peaking units, creating the Reading Power Plant, and began a 24-hour operations control center to manage energy deliveries to its customers. In 2006, REU added wind power from the Pacific Northwest to its renewable resource portfolio due to California's focus on renewable energy. Today, REU has transitioned its resource mix to include renewable generation. REU serves approximately 44,000 residential and commercial customers within the city of Reading, with 800,000 megawatt hours of electricity provided annually and a peak load of over 250 megawatts. REU is locally owned by its community and locally controlled by the Reading City Council. Join us as we celebrate 100 years of Reading Electric Utility.
Now that we're 100 years old, it's been a wild 100 years based on all the history that I've read and some that I've experienced. We've survived snowstorms and fires and pandemics, and all 3 in the years that I've been here. I'm excited to see what is in store for REU. We have proven that we are strong. We have discovered that we have a strong community behind us, and we're just reestablishing that. We've got lots of exciting new things that will come our way in 100 years, and I see nothing but an upward trajectory for all of us.
Since I've been here in the last little over 16 years, the utility industry has done nothing but change. It is constantly changing. The government is looking to the utility to transform the world. They're trying to, starting with clean energy and reducing our carbon footprint, to energy efficiency, to promoting solar and technologies. Now they want us to help electrify the transportation system and further reduce greenhouse gases. All of these programs and all of these goals, they require a very dynamic organization and very dedicated people who can learn and continually change.
My name's Sarah Gibbons. I'm a demand-side management coordinator for REU, and I've been with the utility for about 3.5 years. Everyone that works here wants to see our community succeed and thrive, and we work hard to ensure that that happens at REU.
My name is Sean Avery. I worked with the Reading Electric Utility for the past 2.5 years. I've been with the city for nearly over 27 years. I'm a program supervisor in our administration division. I was born and raised in Shasta County. I've lived in Reading for over 30 years. So having our own public power utility is super important to me as a community member. It means that I can be involved in that process. I know that the council oversees our public utility, and they're going to make decisions that help us as customers within the city of Reading.
So back in 1918, the city founders decided they wanted to purchase and control their own electric system. And on December 21st, 1921, Reading Electric Utility was born.
So from a technical sense, public power is a utility that has local control by, say, the Reading City Council, and it has a not-for-profit motive. So that's kind of the textbook definition of public power, meaning we don't report to the Public Utility Commission some in a far-off place in the state, and we report directly to our City Council with accountability, and we don't have shareholders. My name is Nick Settle. I'm the Assistant Director of the Resources Group with Reading Electric Utility. We don't pay dividends, we don't earn profits. Any excess revenues we bring in will go right back to our reserves and then used to reduce future rates for our customers in a not-for-profit sense. So that's the technical piece. I think the value proposition of public power is much larger than that. So I think really it's Reading Electric has this interwoven relationship with the city, meaning we're 100% focused on 100% of Reading. We don't have to split our time and our energy and our thoughts across other cities or other counties. All of our energy is put right here in our service area. And I think that really starts to show itself.
Public power means safe, reliable, and affordable power for our customers and the community. And it means that there's local prioritization of these by people who live, work, and play here. Each community is different. Reading, for example, is much different than coastal communities. What that means is that our programs and our efforts above and beyond safe and reliable, affordable power are tailored to our community. So what you'll see is we have an enhanced focus on wildfire mitigation and reliability efforts to ensure that we can provide power during extreme weather circumstances.
For us, we've invested a lot in technology. We've invested a lot in personnel through the fire department and parks and our own staff, arborists. That whole concept of staffing up, using technology, making sure your system's as maintained as it can be, is a much better way to operate and leave the power on. Make some other corrections, like we turn off reclosers, but to leave the power on so people can do their work, so law enforcement can do their work, so the firefighters can do their work. When you shut off power, you create a whole enormous amount of other issues. And so, to me, in our area, it makes sense for us to keep the power on. So we could not do it, though, without the partnerships and collaboration with other city departments, other agencies. I mean, Reading is the headquarters of both CAL FIRE and U.S. Forest Service air attack operations. That's a big deal. Keeping those people ready to support us if there's a problem is important.
The IQ Fire Watch is a program that the city implemented this calendar year, and we have 3 cameras that are positioned throughout the city. One here at our AvTech facility, one at our corporation yard, and one up on the west side of town. And they provide us a perimeter of surveillance for wildfire smoke. What the cameras are designed to do is to do early detection of smoke plumes within a 10-mile radius of the city of Reading. So it detects fires both inside of the city, but also in the surrounding areas. Really a part of our technology to ensure that we are fighting wildfires as quickly as we possibly can.
We fundamentally believe it's better for us to work harder and invest in keeping the power on rather than shutting it off.
As part of our wildfire mitigation plan, we have 4 key elements. 1 is technology, 2 is prevention and response, 3 is capital improvement, and our 4th is our emergency operations, how we work through an emergency, not with just within the utility, but with all of our partners, Reading Police, Reading Fire, our parks divisions, our water and wastewater, and all the divisions here within the city of Reading, so that we can work together if we do have another large event that impacts our community.
So a lot of people, when they pay their electric bill, they assume that they're maybe just paying for power, but there's all sorts of things that you're paying for. You're paying for the line trucks, the linemen, you're paying for the actual power plant on Clear Creek Road that some people don't know about. You're also help funding police and fire services in the city of Reading.
Our technology is critical for the city of Reading in being able to combat wildfires as we move forward. As you can see, we're part of, this is our emergency operations center, not just for the utility, but for the entire city of Reading. Working together to make sure that we are doing our best to not only mitigate wildfires, but to respond to them as quickly as possible, particularly if they're impacting our infrastructure. And we have a number of other technology areas that we're focused on, our new radio projects, and we're tying all of the electronic pieces together, all of the technology together, really to benefit this community should we ever go through another large wildfire or we're impacted by another catastrophic event, so that we're prepared for it. We want to have a plan well in advance so that we can deal with any emergencies that do arise. As part of that, our emergency operations plan puts our subject matter experts in our operations, our planning, our finance and logistics together so that we can work coordinated during any event that could occur in the city of Reading. And our last portion of our wildfire mitigation plan is our 10-year capital improvement, improving our infrastructure, making sure that it's continuing to provide reliable electricity to our customers that we serve.
What's interesting is to purchase the system, they actually borrowed money from the general fund. And they also put out some bonds to generate money. And within the first 7 months or so, the utility paid back the general fund almost completely. And each year, the city gained in profits about the same as it cost to buy the system initially. And what they did with that money is any extra money that came in, they of course took care of the system, but they also paved streets and did other infrastructure improvements to make the city better. And so Reading Electric Utility has been an asset to the city of Reading for the last 100 years in many, many ways. When you look at how much local taxes were back in the day, because REU could provide so much value to the city, the residents of Reading had much lower tax rates than others.
The entire western United States and Canada, the provinces of British Columbia and Alberta, and a little bit of northern Mexico is all interconnected in one grid. And it's interconnected in instantaneous fashion, meaning we don't have the ability to store power in large quantities anywhere. So whatever is being consumed by customers, let's say this filming process is using electricity right now, has to be instantaneously generated somewhere by a generator in the western grid. So if you think about right now, in order to do this film process, we have to take water out of a pool because we're using the water. Somewhere somebody has to pour it back in the pool and maintain a perfect balance. The pool can't go up, it can't go down. If it does, the pool goes out of service, meaning you have a system-wide collapse.
Reading's portfolio is actually pretty complex for this size city that we are. We have, of course, everyone thinks of the water and the dams in the area.
That power comes from the Central Valley Project, which is essentially Shasta Dam, Folsom Dam, Trinity, a series of large reservoirs in Northern California. And that'll provide anywhere from, say, a quarter to maybe a third or even more of our annual energy usage, depending on if it was a wet year or a dry year.
Some years you'll get more, some years you'll get less.
What we have done is contracted for wind power where the wind blows, which is up in Washington State in the Columbia River Gorge. A project called Bighorn Wind. We contracted for that back in 2006 and we'll probably get deliveries through 2031. That serves roughly about a quarter of our city's annual energy usage.
We have a little hydro plant at the base of Whiskeytown Dam that runs pretty much 24/7, and that creates some other good renewable power, it's a small amount.
It's 100% zero carbon energy, it's very clean, and we recently contracted for that service for another 30 years starting in 2025.
In the past, we've had gas pipeline contracts. We still have gas delivery contracts.
Another major part of our portfolio is our natural gas-fired power plant here in Reading, and it provides more than just energy. It provides the capacity we need to service on those really hot summer days, especially if outside power deliveries can't come in because of transmission limitations or other issues from, say, wildfires or who knows what goes on, equipment failure. That power plant has 5 combustion gas turbines and 1 steam turbine. 3 of the turbines are what we call kind of fast response peaking units that come on right when you need them and they come off, very short duration. And 2 of the other gas turbines run at a much higher efficiency and they run anywhere from 6 to 9 months out of the year. Our power plant has been awarded many times as one of the cleanest facilities in California, if not the nation. And it's a good fuel. Natural gas is a good bridge fuel to get us where we need to be for the next 100 years until technology can come along.
And then of course, within the city limits, we have over 15 megawatts of rooftop solar on our way to probably 20 megawatts. We're probably going to double the California requirement for how much rooftop solar a given system has. And so, that's pretty exciting too.
From a resource perspective, Reading is special because we are nearly 90% carbon free in some years.
In a given year, our customers residentially save millions of dollars compared if they were served by an investor-owned. And that doesn't even count all the other revenue that gets transferred in and all the other side benefits. Public power is just a really hugely superior business model. And the sooner cities got into it and got their own system, the better off they've been over the hundreds of years.
What I'd like to think what makes Reading special is that customer service is a state of mind. It's organizational from the top down.
For COVID, we had our Comprehensive Community Assistance Program, well known as CCAP, which we provided. So we did door-to-door outreach explaining what our different assistance options for our area were for the community. We didn't focus solely on utility assistance either. We also went into rental assistance, mortgage payment forbearance, CalFresh, anything that we could find that could potentially help our customers. We wanted our community to be healthy after COVID. We wanted to survive it. And we're still doing that outreach. And that will continue until we no longer need it.
So Reading does have a residential energy discount program that's for income qualified individuals, where you can receive a discount on your monthly bill. In addition to that, if our customers face financial hardship, they can receive currently up to $300 off of their electric portion of their bill to help them with that distress, and they can receive that. Usually it's once per year. During COVID, we expanded that to provide assistance during the unprecedented times.
So we have our CARES and SHARES programs. We also have our scholarship program as well as our sponsorship program. We give out several scholarships to STEM-related programs, students that are going into STEM-related programs. It does not have to be a four-year university. It can also be a trade school, as long as it is a STEM-related focus. We try to give back whenever possible. We try to educate the community. We try to maintain at the forefront of thought process. We want our community members and our students especially to remember that we exist and that we want them to come back and work with us in the future.
We provided grant funding to match a federal grant to bring in more electric buses. We provided match funding to bring in funds from the state for affordable housing projects for downtown development. We are providing funding to do kind of a citywide energy efficiency makeover. Anything from fire stations to aquatic parks to everything that needs to be retrofitted and updated with more modern technology. You know, and if being a public power utility in Reading, we can do that. If we were an investor-owned utility, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't be able to just focus on one city. We'd have to spread it out.
Investor-owned utilities have to price in a shareholder return on investment, and dividends. We do not have to price that in. Our dividends to our customers come in the form of lower rates.
To me, that's really the value proposition of public power.
We are able to work with the citizens we serve, and we're able to tailor the electric needs of the community directly to Reading. We're not influenced by investors. We're not influenced by outside parameters. We're able to focus specifically on what the needs are of this community.
Everyone that works here wants to see the community succeed and thrive, and we work hard to ensure that that happens.
We help support the city attorney's office because we have multitude of contracts and things. We help support the parks department and community services because we hire them to help us with our wildfire mitigation plan. We support the fire department through hiring firefighters for our wildfire mitigation plan. So those are still some of the direct ways. We have scholarship programs. We have sponsorships that we do. We're closely tied to education. Because we're nonprofit, we just have a lot of alignment with other nonprofits in the community. And then there's just the fact that there's almost 200 really decent jobs, careers here, just within REU. Then there's the whole part of, we have a power plant, and that power plant is owned by the community. And in this day and age in California, when power gets short, we're able to sell back into the market and help the rest of California while helping our customers. So there's so many ways that REU benefits the city, the customers financially, that it's hard to track, and that's still not including the over $100 a month per residential customer average savings compared to an investor-owned utility.
Like many essential services, electric is the one utility in Reading that every single customer depends on every single day to live. You need power for the grocery store, you need power for your home, you need power really for everything. And if we can do everything we can to make sure that's safe and reliable and affordable, we can provide a positive impact on every single person in Reading every single day.
The long-term group that I oversee, they look out into the future, say 20 plus years, and they perform what's called integrated resource planning, which it's a task that involves analysis and review of future energy usage, how much energy are folks going to use in Reading from electric cars or changing out of gas-fired appliances to electric. What's our population growth going to be? They factor all those elements in, and then they have to serve that load in the future. We're working right now on a mid-cycle integrated resource plan update that should be coming out soon. The short-term group I oversee, what they do is they take all the resources that we've contracted or built in the long term, and then they optimize it all the way down to the last 5 minutes in the real-time environment to keep making sure that we have the least cost, most reliable, and environmentally friendly solution. And that group is a 24/7, 365-day operation. There's always somebody at work, always somebody on the desk making sure that the lights are going to stay on.
Well, 100 is just a cool number. It says to me that this utility and this business model is important to this community. And if we want to keep that commitment and that value to the community, then we're going to have to continue to be dynamic, continue to be sensitive to the community's needs, make sure we align our values with the community, and make sure that we can navigate on their behalf as the electric utility industry completely changes over the next few years. So that it's a big challenge, but given the success of the last 100 years, I know we can do it. It's going to be exciting to do, and it's never been a better time for people to come and try to get into the industry. It's a great place to work. I mean, what better than working somewhere that you're a public servant, what you do brings value to the community you live in. And I mean, since REU has been the last few years with our wildfire mitigation plan and others, public safety in Reading has been bolstered significantly, and that's a really cool thing to be part of.
I actually get to make an impact in the community I live in, and I can really see it. You know, I'm working here for 19 years. Things that we started 19 years ago, I've already seen the transition happen. So, for example, when I first started working here, we were a part owner in a coal power project in New Mexico. Shortly after I started working here, some regulations were coming out, and both the federal and the state level, and it just wasn't making sense to participate in that project from an emission standpoint and a cost standpoint. And so I was on the team to transition out of coal and into wind power, the Bighorn project. And you know, now I'm going to be on the team that's looking to transition out of natural gas and into renewable energy plus storage solutions. So, and I get to see it here in our town with the people I live with and I play with and my friends and my family. And I get to make an impact on something that happens to them. It's embedded in their everyday life. It's a bill that they pay every month. And I don't have to wonder if I'm doing a good job when I know that our rates are, you know, maybe less than half of the alternative investor-owned utility that neighbors our town. And it's really the proof's in the pudding. And, you know, I getting to come to work every day, work with great people, work on a team that makes a difference. It's really important.
In the next 100 years, REU will develop an advanced distribution system. The advanced distribution system will be necessary to electrify Reading. That means the displacement of internal combustion engines with electric vehicles and the displacement of natural gas heating with electric heating. REU will need the resources to meet that, both power supply that's decarbonized, as well as the people to do it.
I love working with the kids. I love seeing the excitement that they have for the utility in general, and every day I'm learning something new because I'm working with the kids. I get to see it from their point of view, or they ask these questions that are things that I never thought of, but are so well thought out and show that they really are paying attention all the time, and they're excited about what we do. And how things happen and how electricity goes from our power plant to their outlet and how it lets them play their video games, things like that. And it's always very interesting to see what comes out of those interactions.
We have such a wide range of skills and training that we need, everything from tree trimmers to accountants to customer service reps to linemen, engineers. There's a lot of interesting work to do. The best employees, I feel, are the ones that grew up here and want to be here, who love the area, know the area, understand the people, and want to serve their community. And this is a great place to do that. So I would just encourage everyone of all backgrounds, find out what we have, get yourself trained up, and come work for Reading Electric.
It's hard to believe that 100 years REU has been here in the city of Reading. I look forward to the decades to come where we continue to be involved in the community. We see our electric reliability even improve greater. But most importantly, we continue to build relationships with the members of all of our city departments and all of our customers that we serve.